traffic wasn't bad at all. I packed a little different than I normally do, which I can show you later. I don't know that I like it. It seemed easier to put in the truck, but I don't know about putting it on the kayak. We'll see. I'm taking different gear this time because usually when I do this, it's a little warmer at night. It's already, I think, warmer than they said the high was going to be, so I'm not super worried about it. I currently have a line in the water and trolling a little bit. So I figure if I'm moving, I might as well have something in there, see if I can catch something. Somebody caught a trout down here a while back, and so I kind of took their advice to see what we can do. Fishing is going to be kind of a byproduct of it, so it's not really about that as much as it is just being out here and camping. And I'm going to do a tarp shelter tonight, so I practiced that in the backyard, so maybe it'll go a little more smooth this round. Brought some firewood, so there's not a lot to burn out here, which makes the kayak heavy, but you kind of got to have a fire, or it's not really camping, is it? Yeah, I'll get back to you guys. It's gorgeous out. It's almost a little too warm for this fleece. That might come off shortly. I will catch you in a little bit. So you can barely see them, but there are so many ducks out here. I'm trying not to disturb them, but that kind of gets hard. All the waterfowl in the Las Vegas area, I'm almost certain. Something else I forgot to mention, I can see my phone in my glasses. I got about, I don't know, maybe a half mile into my paddle, maybe a quarter mile, probably not a half mile, and realized I left my fishing pole on the beach. So I turned around and had to go back. Luckily nobody ran it over or stole it. There was a guy nice enough to hand it to me, so that would have made for some shitty fishing, but luckily it was still there. Whoops. See the black line? That is called a bathtub line, where water levels come up to where they normally are the majority of the time. So you can see that the river is low. It's definitely something to keep an eye out for. This river speed is controlled by the Hoover Dam. So when they open it, it will come up at a high rate of speed to a point where it can like flood you out if you're on the beach. So that's a bathtub line. Never seen one. Kind of like the dirty one at home, unless you clean it on a regular basis. I don't know who takes baths anymore. So. Moving on. I don't know if you can see it. That is mile marker 52. So the cool thing about this part of the river is you have this handy dandy map and this high-speed map bag, aka gallon Ziploc bag. We're right there. Put in at Willow Beach, 52, trying to get there. So that way you can kind of tell where you're at. So those mile markers, where to go, are really helpful. I pulled over for a potty break in this little cove here. So I was talking earlier about how the water level will come up like really fast, and just for a good example, it's not gonna let me flip around. Let's see if we can do it here. Can you see F word? There, we can see it. See the fire ring? It's underwater. The water level's up there. How does that happen? When they open the dam, water comes up, and then your campsite goes away. So be careful. Okay, so I was fishing with a grub and it wasn't doing anything, so we're gonna try this little jointed Rapala bad boy. Just for a tying for a knot, you take your fishing line and run it through your hole like such, right? pinch that at the bottom because you want to keep that open. And then you are going to, oh boy, fight your line. Wrap it around the line like 4 or 5 times. This is not going the way I wanted it to. Oh, the line would fight me. So it's gonna look like that. You see it? Yeah. So you take your tail in and put it back down through that hole and pinch all that together. And then you're gonna pull down. If you gotta keep a hold of everything, unlike I'm doing, and it will snug that down. And then it'll look like such. It's gonna focus. It won't focus. Yeah, that's it. Got to the first place I was gonna camp, and no dice. It's a little steep, and it's in a wash, so there's not a lot of beach. So if it rains, they said it might today, but it doesn't look like it. I don't want to be caught in that, so I'm gonna go further downriver. There's supposed to be another one, like another mile. I think I actually see a bunch of people over there now. Which isn't a good sign, but hopefully they're just stopped for a minute. We will see. We'll just keep heading downriver and see what we can do. I did find at that last one, somebody had a fire there at a grill, and they dumped a bunch of charcoal, which you can, I'm gonna flip by, never mind. Just look weird. There's a bag like right back there on my net, or under my cargo net, and I collected a bunch of charcoal briquettes that they hadn't burned, so their trash can now be used to start my fire to cook tonight. So good find. Yeah, we'll keep pressing. So this is home for the night. I had to end up going about 6 miles back upriver because I couldn't find any campsites. And I was kind of freaking out because that's blowing in. So here we go. Time to get set up. Just looking at the back of the shelter. So not that tie out. Second one in on both sides is staked out. This might be concrete, the way that wanted to go in there. So the next step is to come up here. The one straight out the back, we don't want to put that one in there. We want to take this one, move it in just past the one in the back. Do that on both sides. Now that we have those two pegged out, our fronts are tucked in a little bit and pegged out, we're going to put the pole into the second tie-out point in the center. So there's one, it's going to go there. You want it up underneath there so that it's supported by the restructuring there. Slight change in plans. Shocker. So my pegs did not want to go into this ground. I don't understand it. So we're going to do a bowline like I did in my last video. So again, we'll just make a bite in it, and then we're gonna go up through the loop, around the back of it, and back down through. And we're gonna snag that and dress it down, maybe. Woo. Okay, so then we're gonna just run that loop through there, push the cord back through it, and that'll be snug on our tarp tie out there. What a day, kids. So then we've got this fancy rock here. So we're gonna take this rock, we're gonna do a taut line, we're gonna go around it, across itself, and it's gonna go 2 loops to the inside, and then 1 loop to the outside, back down through itself. This is adjustable. Ooh, that was a short one. So, if I want to make it tighter, I can cinch it up. We're kind of at a line there, but just move the rock. Too easy. We have a tarp tent. So now I just have to fold the little wings back here, and then I'm going to rope them out to those corners, and then we'll have a doorway. Yay! And the sun decided to come back out, which is phenomenal because I thought I was about to get totally rained on. I am pretty excited about that. Yes, that is an oar in the middle. It took some re-engineering because it did not want to function the way I wanted it to, so it's a little higher off the ground. That's okay. It's not going to be too bad tonight. I had to use rocks to peg it out, which means new tent pegs are going to be in order. So we've got the bowl in there, ran back through itself to a taut line hitch down here. So it's tied back to itself. That makes the door all perte. Now you have options to also take this to make like a rain cover in the front if you want. So I might tie that out to the other part of the oar, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to mess with it because these stakes don't work worth a shit. So yeah, I might just leave it. It's pretty neat though. Quick rundown on the gear. So I have a static B insulated sleeping mat. I also have the corrugated foam one that I'm gonna put down too. I have a tarp that I'm gonna use for a ground sheet, just for something between me. The other one, I don't necessarily need it. I had room for it. These are rain pants. I have my rain jacket, hatchet, inflatable Sea to Summit pillow. It's better than nothing, it's not great. My kuksa, a really good friend of mine made this for me, so it's pretty cool. It's homemade. I gotta be gentle with it because I don't want to ruin it. My food, I have a Mountain House meal, some tea, some sugar, some coffee in here for tomorrow, powdered milk. I went with the Mountain House meal just because it's easier. I also have 2 packets of oatmeal for breakfast for the morning. This is actually an old military laundry bag. String broke, so I put 550 in it. Got some extra 550 cord, my Moore knife, my cook pot set that has the fire kit inside of it. That's what we'll be using to boil water a little bit later, probably sooner rather than later. Coffee strainer, headlamp, which I'm going to put out now. Just in case I run out of water, I've got 2 Nalgene's, but I have a Sawyer mini filter, and there's a water bag. A water bag, so I can fill this up in the river and filter it. I've done it before, I've never been sick. So gas canister for cooking coffee, making coffee. Who the hell cooks coffee? An extra bandana. I have my first aid kit. I have a toiletries kit with toothbrush, toothpaste, a charger, because last time I almost killed my battery doing this, so I have a little battery bank so I can charge the phone back up if I do too much on that. Probably doing too much already. My long-handled spoon. This weird cap to something. Doesn't matter. A book that I've been reading forever, and it is a good book. I just don't like to sit still, so this would be perfect as long as I can do it before I have enough daylight. And I have a leather-bound journal in here. I actually wrote the design for making this tent so I can remember, and then I might write some little notes in there. I want to start writing more, so we'll see if I can actually keep to it. I also have an extra gas canister in here since that one's getting low, so just in case. But not a ton of stuff. I do have my fishing gear that's on the boat, and I also have a fleece. So I lied. So then there's also a clothing bag in there that has an extra pair of socks, a pair of waffle knit bottoms, just in case I get cold or I might sleep in them because these are kind of damp from paddling all day. And I was kind of kicking up some water, and then my sleeping bag's in there as well. The sleeping bag's the military intermediate weather bag, or cold weather bag, I guess. It's not the thin one, it's the thicker one. It's supposed to, it says get a -10. I'm gonna say no, but it's not gonna be that cold tonight, so I'll be fine. Plus I have the tent to kind of block some wind as well and rain if we get it, so should be a good night. I'm about to get after some fire building, I think, and get some water going so I can have some tea. Into the house we go. So, yeah. Like I said, you don't need all this, and it's not gonna get that cold, but I wanna be comfortable, right? I'm not backpacking, so I have that, which is insulated. This is an insulated pad, and it's made for side sleepers, or AKA bony people like me. So it does keep me off the ground. So it's very comfortable. I have the uninsulated one. I just picked that one up a little while back, so should be good tonight. I'm a-thinking, as long as I don't kick that over. It'd be a good time. So now it's time for fire. Here we have leftover wood from the salmon eye strip. So we're going to split this down further. So I need smaller pieces to get the fire going. So if you need to split something smaller and you're not gonna like just blast through it, set your blade on it and then tap it to get it started. So if you go chopping at it when it's that small, you got a bigger chance of hitting your fingers. And if obviously you're out here, it's gonna be a while before you get to help. So if you cut it off, you're probably gonna lose it. So then you can take it like that and just use the ground and bust it open. So that'll get your smaller pieces. And then you can use those to start your fire. Good things for the top of your fire, or if you're gonna do a striker for it, are dead things like this stuff, or like these leaves. That's how dead and dry that is. It's gonna go up really quick. So if you can break some of this off, there's not a lot to burn out here on the river, oddly enough. I think this stuff would grow better, but it doesn't. So what we're gonna do, just get a bunch of this to put on the top. I know this is what you're waiting for. I finally made it. It's actually really warm out. I didn't think it was gonna be this warm. And I did not think that I was gonna find a campsite. I told a friend of mine actually the other day, I was talking about doing this and said I was gonna go down river for something different. And then I went down river, and I normally don't because the campsites aren't as great. They're not as big. This one's huge. I got a lot of room. If the water level comes up, I still have plenty of room. I think it has come up since I've got here, but I've been busy. Normally I put a stick in the ground by the edge of the water, so that way I can tell if it's come up or not, but I forgot because I was afraid I was gonna get rained on. So I got the tarp tent up. It fought me a little bit. The biggest thing with that is the center pole will not stay up until everything's tightened out on the side. So you gotta fight with it a little bit. Got my water on the fire. So once that gets boiling, then I can put that in my meal. I can eat. I'm starving. I didn't eat lunch. I almost never do when I come and do these things for some stupid reason. And then I'm miserable by dinner. We got a good view though. It looks like the storm might clear out, so I don't know if I'm gonna get any rain or not, but I'll have to get some good pictures. And I'm gonna hang out here. I don't have a ton of firewood, but I think I got enough to get me by, and then I'm just gonna camp stove it in the morning, my backpacking stove, so I'm not gonna mess with it, but I'm gonna fire cook tonight for sure. I didn't bring s'more stuff. Yeah, so see, even pre-planning you forget things, but it's going pretty good. I had a little moment of panic there whenever I couldn't find a spot. I was, I guess, 6 miles from here, and I didn't think I'd make it back up for it. Either rained or I ran out of light, but it did. So here we are. I might actually fish a little bit while that water is boiling, so catch fish, cool. If not, then oh well, I'm not at home. So I hope you guys are enjoying these. Let me know. Everybody said river trip, so that's where we're at. It was a good weekend for it. I was gonna go to Mount Charleston, but it's gonna be a low of 13 tonight, so maybe next weekend we'll do some snow camping, but not that cold when I have the option. So anyway, I will catch y'all in a little bit. I turn my back for 1 minute in a hot ash, burn a friggin' hole in my chair. So now it'll be, I guess, patching project, at least for the underquilt. I don't know how I'm gonna patch this because it's mesh, but yay! Not quite. Hear these birds? Having a heyday back there. Not a bad view. Hi. So, angles are fun. I may have forgotten the s'mores, but I remembered hot cocoa with little marshmallows. So that's gonna be the business. I got my powder in there, my little $4 Wally World cup, or your begging for change cup, whatever your job entails these days. I've got water on. I think it's probably done. Oh yeah, it's making noise. Making noise. Oh, I dropped my knife. It's on fire. So we're gonna... That's what never taste anything again when you drink it immediately sounds like. Ugh. You will only grab one of these pots without a handkerchief or something over your hand one time, and you'll never do it again. I've done it. It sucks. And then for dinner, get my life together. I said Mountain House meals. This one is chicken and dump. So they're not amazing, but it's definitely better than some other options you have, and it's pretty good for just adding boiling water and letting it sit. Another, if you never want to taste it again, eat it immediately when it's done. It's best to stir it a few times and let it go. This fire keeps popping. It's gonna burn all my crap down. Yeah, so I'm gonna eat dinner and then just marinate in the outdoors. We'll see how this night filming goes via headlamp. So I thought I had sleep tea, but I don't. I do have some caffeine-free raspberry zinga that will do the trick. So I got water boiling. I got my kuksha, and then I'm gonna throw that in there, and then I'll dump the boiling water in there, and we'll have some tea. Water is ready. To burn my hands. Didn't quite take all of it. No big deal. So I wanted to try to show you the water level. That's camp. Anyway, so there's where it was wet. The water has now receded. Oh, there. That's all from the dam. So it comes up and goes back down. It comes up, it goes back down. So not as drastic as a change one other time, but it does move. So I'm going to bed. How's my hair? Is it great? God, I've had a hat on all day. Couple things to remember. Oh, sorry, I'm having a moment. Is I always bring melatonin in my first aid kit so that if I don't think I'm going to sleep, I'll take one. Or if I think I'm going to sleep, I'll take one because you're sleeping outside. So that does help. Melatonin is a good one unless like you can't for some reason. I always take have melatonin backpacking, camping, kayaking, whatever. If it's an overnighter, I have it. Your socks. Your socks. Always change out your socks before you go to bed. I don't like sleeping in socks normally, but if it's colder out, you're gonna want to. It helps keep you warmer. And if you're hiking all day, you definitely want to do it. But even if you were just sitting in a kayak, like I had chacos on earlier, and then I switched into boots and socks when I got to camp, then you're walking around in them. So if you put on fresh socks, there's no moisture in them. They're completely warm and new. Then you don't have to worry about it. So they'll keep your feet warmer and keep you warmer while you're sleeping. And you can bring a beanie. I have one, and it's within reach, but I'm not going to put it on yet. We'll see. I might need it by morning. I will see you guys for coffee. I guess when you hear the birds like that, that means it's time to get up. Get this coffee going. It's going to be real easy. Put the coffee grounds, put water in the pot. And there are two ways to get the grounds out of it. Either when it's done, you can sprinkle cold water on the top and it'll sink to the bottom. Or you just pour it slow. Or I use a little strainer, which I will show you. This just goes on here, and then I've got my little gas stove. It's chilly. It's not bad, but it's chilly. A little, I can get out of this bag. It's this little thing. It's an Amazon special for $16, and it's kind of the business. It just screws right on top. It's really short. It's got a good coating. Use a fire striker or a lighter to light it. Turn it on. And we just wait for it to boil. So you have to watch it, because as soon as it boils, it will go everywhere, so you have to keep an eye on it. See, the grounds are starting to get wet. It's getting there. But yeah, it'll foam up really bad and it'll go clear over the sides. So after it's boiled, I'll let it sit for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. There's a million different ways people do this. And then this is my little coffee strainer. So this will clip onto damn near any cup. I got a little dehydrated milk in there and a sugar packet. I just get sugar packets from the gas station whenever I get gas station coffee, because they have a million of them and they don't need all of them. And they're great for backpacking. So you take the lid off. This is where you're gonna wanna pour it through. I'm doing this gracefully. The strainer. Got it everywhere. Oh well. Put the lid back on to keep what's left hot. And put it off to the side. Give that a little squeeze there. And then I just take that off and wait for those grounds to dry, and then they'll come out. And then we have coffee. It's actually pretty good. So you can also sprinkle the cold water on top and it'll push the grounds to the bottom, but if you pour it too fast, they'll come back up. So I just use that, because that thing weighs nothing, and then I don't have to worry about it. I slept really warm last night. I don't think it got as cold as it was supposed to. I don't know. Obviously I rolled over in the middle of the night and put this on. I was down in the bag, but yeah, I didn't get too bad. So I think the insulated sleeping pad probably had something to do with it, and I just don't think it got as cold as it could have, or as they said it was gonna. This coffee's doing the trick too. I think of this, and then I've got oatmeal packets somewhere. So I'm just gonna boil water and put the oatmeal in here and just eat it straight out of here, so that I don't have to dirty another container with oatmeal, because oatmeal sucks to get out of stainless steel. And then after that, I'll be packing up and hitting the road or the water. I got a little bonus moment. I found, oh please focus, see him? Oh, there he went. A little mayfly hatch. That's what fly fishermen look for, i.e. me. And then you try to match that little guy that just flew off to your fly that you have, because that's what they're gonna be eating, the trout. Pretty cool. I don't have my fly fishing gear, but yeah, that's exciting. If you decide to eat your oatmeal out of a bag, you look in there, well, you can see on the outside, that line is the fill line. Most of us just dump it into a container so we don't pay attention to it, or I know I didn't, but you can see it from the inside too. So you fill it to that line, and then when you do it, you want to make sure that you scrunch the corners, because sometimes the flavor will get in the corners, and if you don't, like, mix it up really well, you'll have a really sugary bite, and it's kind of gross. So just a tip. After you have your boiling water in, just fold the top over a little bit and prop it up somewhere, let it sit for a minute, and it'll cook the oatmeal in there. If you eat it right away, it's not going to be cooked in there, because you're not microwaving it like you do at home. But the boiling water will cook it in the packet, and it won't leak unless you tear the packet. I didn't know this. I actually learned this from a guy that I watch on YouTube, Joe Robinette. Does this a lot, and it's smart, but it's simple. There's a lot of stuff out here that you'll realize is very simple, but you don't think about it initially. So good tip.